Member of the Association of Bridal Consultants, and many of you who are in a position where it's not necessarily a justice of the peace appropriate, not an exact fit perhaps for a minister because of situations within the family or relationships. This is a wonderful organization that fills the void and helps to move you from, I really am not sure what or who to refer you to I know exactly who to send you to. We also want to again thank Charlotte, Eulette, and Celebrate USA for being our morning coffee sponsor. And without further ado, Charlotte and Eulette.
Fanfare. I want to thank Tony Polisi and all the wonderful people that put this together. We have Carol, Bethany, Lois, and I'm forgetting David, Mr. Hanson over there in Charming, and all of you who are really doing something that's amazing, especially in this time of history, where people are coming together and they're celebrating their lives. They have the opportunity to talk about what's important to them. They're able to express themselves. And all of you here, you came to a specific vocation where you're helping people celebrate their love. So I really thank all of you, because we're doing this together. I brought a group of celebrants with me because they wanted to meet with all of you as well. And all of you are basically troubadours of love. It's an ancient concept that it's been updated, and that's what you're doing. You're making their dreams come true. And one thing that I wanted to mention is because we have Rhonda Rivera. There was a wedding ceremony that she called us up, and there were these two soldiers from Iraq, Marines, and they were stationed there. They came in for a few days. They didn't have much time to mess around, and they needed somebody to honor their traditions and also to talk about their story and their history. Let's face it. They didn't know they were going to live long enough to get married. That is heavy duty. This is the times that we're living in. And what we did was Rhonda and also Wilma Quantrill, who's going to talk about the ceremony and how it's personalized. We also have the video outside, but we're not going to show it here because we're going to reenact it in a little bit. But anyways, what we have here is the Star Ledger piece. We've got the couple here, and we talk about Rhonda, and we talk about the celebrant that created a personalized wedding ceremony for this couple that rang true for all of them. Now, why is this important? Is PR important to bridal consultants? You bet your sweet petunia. I know there's petunia bouquets, but anyway, it is very important. So when you're doing a ceremony, when you're interviewing a couple, and you're creating the whole ceremony, because that's what we do, it's important to find out what their story is. And if you have a story that speaks, you may want to contact the Celebrate USA Foundation, me personally, and I will call either Peggy Lewis Peggy Crowley of the Star Ledger, or some of our other people at all the other magazines. It's important that people know what you do, so you as troubadours of love can make things happen for these couples that would like to. It's very important for you to get their permission. It may not always be called for, but that's something that is also very important to you in your career. And it was such an honor, and we love Rhonda, and she really busted that day. But another thing that I want to talk to you is about why is a celebrant different? Well, a celebrant's different because we sit down and talk to the couples. We ask them questions like, tell us your story. What are your hopes and dreams for the future? What is it that you'd like to have the people in your family and friends knowing and feeling about you today? Is there something that you're wearing that's special? Do you want to give something to someone in your ceremony? What do you want to tell the groom? What does the groom want to say to the bride? This is the moment. Sure, the ring is important, But the real gem is what they have to say to one another. And those are the words that last forever, not just the diamonds. The diamonds are cold stone. It's the words, it's the tributes that we do with the families. And then what a celebrant does is something else. We have them proof the ceremony. We make sure that their pronunciation of their families' names are accurate, whether they're Chinese, Hungarian, or they're from Zimbabwe. This is very, very important. You don't mess up the names. And also what we do is we give a beautiful copy of the ceremony to the couples. This is what we do for weddings, baby namings, renewal of vows, engagements. We do all different kinds of events. So we want to make sure that you know that. And why are cultural weddings important? This is what we're going to do today. These are weddings that we're going to have Jerry Fierce, who is a New York and New Jersey wedding celebrant, come up and do a reenactment of the ceremony. And we're going to pick some lucky bride and groom from the audience to wear our 1930s top hat. And our basically the veil is a communion veil. I couldn't get with the other kind. So, and also we have Wilma Quantrill, who is the wedding celebrant. She's from Keyport, New Jersey, and Jerry and Wilma actually also part of our faculty, because we are an institute. We train people to become celebrants. And celebrants are non-denominational ministers. So if a couple is Buddhist and Jewish, where do you go? You come to us because we know their cultural, ritual, symbols. We know comparative religious, rites of passage, all these kinds of things that are very important. So we come with a knowledge base. We're trained. We're certified. That's what a celebrant is. And we have celebrants from New Jersey, because you're Northeastern Regional Bridal Consultants and event consultants. We have 200 and more celebrants throughout North America and Canada. And going back, we started in Australia 30 years ago, where 85% of the wedding ceremonies are officiated by celebrants. And they also are in the funeral and memorial and celebration of life celebrants as well, and they do 90% of the funerals and memorials. So they're a big part of the culture. We brought this to the United States 6 years ago. It happened right around 9/11. And I have to tell you, this is where America, with our different cultures that you're going to see today, with our different languages, with our children that we're adopting from all over the world, they're coming here to this great country. So that's why cultural ceremonies are very important. And with that, no further ado, as Lois had said, do and don'ts, I-dos, with more I-dos, is Jerry Fierce, New Jersey, New York wedding celebrant, who's going to come up and do his thing. Come on up.
Well, thank you very much. I think you can hear me. I'm an actor, so I have a pretty good voice. Would you be my bride? Please. Thank you so much. And thank you. And I also need, could you be the bridesmaid? Thank you. There. And I need a best man. Is there a best man in the house, please? Thank you. Thank you. I became a celebrant as the foundation was being set up. As Charlotte said, the concept of a celebrant started 30 years ago in Australia. The Attorney General of Australia was a divorced Catholic. When he wanted a civil ceremony, he discovered that it was sort of like getting a dog license. And he said people should have heart and soul, even if it isn't a formal religious ceremony. So even though we are civil celebrants, it's not that we are anti-religious or don't include if people desire religious blessings or readings from the Bible. We create a ceremony that is a reflection of who the people are. Now, because we live in the New York, Philadelphia, New Jersey metro area, we have people from all over the world, as Charlotte said. Our job is not to have people walk out going, oh, that was different. Our job is to have people walk out going, that was so warm, inclusive, and just who they are. So you have to listen, go through an interview process, you have to listen and create something that works for the client. And that means not having an imposition of, oh, this is the way I do it. Instead, what you do is you guide them. So you say, you know, if your family is Catholic, they want something that's going to give them something that they say is, oh yes, I recognize that. It's not exactly how Father would have done it, but I understand that. And if your family is Hindu, you want to give them something that they'll understand, right? So that everybody walks out feeling like they've been cued to the kind of ritual that makes them realize that this is a real wedding, not just some New Age ceremony, right? It's not. We are based, and that's why you have to be certified by the Celebrate USA Foundation, because you have to go through a training course in ritual and folklore and tradition, and understand how the writing process carries people through the journey that gives it heart and soul. So I have a little example, a very short example, of a ceremony that I did with a South Asian bride from India and a Christian surfer. He really wasn't a surfer, but he was from La Jolla. And they met in a bar in San Diego, and as they told me their story, they said, but don't mention that. So instead, we just mentioned that they met unexpectedly. So I'm going to give you this little example. There's a flower ceremony included. You're going to present flowers. I'll instruct you. And you'll get a sense of the way that Hindu-Christian ceremonies were put together to reflect a little bit of the story of this particular couple. So we gather today to celebrate the love and union of Anjali and Terence, who bring to each other the unique treasures of their families and their traditions as they create a new household. Apropos what I'm doing, this is essentially how I would be set up. Like a priest or a rabbi who would be facing out with the couple giving their backs to the guests, I always have to get the couple face out for better photographs, and also because I'm not the important person in the ceremony, they are. And I stand usually beside them near the best man on the groom's shoulder. We gather today to celebrate the love and union of this couple. Their destiny was to find each other across oceans and continents, propelled by love. We come here from the four corners of the world as witness to this love. Let the blessings of all of our traditions flow upon this loving couple from all directions of the compass. The sacred east, where the flaming sun arises, let your love be a light and inspiration to yourselves and the world. The sacred south, where the earth offers her abundance, let your love support our planting and harvesting, both as individuals and as a couple. May all your days be blessed with love. The sacred west, where the noble sun sets, let your love be a comfort to all your disappointments, a mirror to all your hopes. The sacred north, where the soul's compass finds its home, let your love be a guide to your passionate powers and your progress in the world. May all your years be blessed with love. These four corners of the world are the sacred directions of love. May you be held in their center, now and for the rest of your life together, and for a long time to come, and may all your dreams come true. Terence, would you take Anjali's hands and hold them palm up in yours. These are the hands, young and vibrant with love, that reach out to you on your wedding day as she gives you her pledge and accepts your ring. These are the hands that will hold you in joy, excitement, and hope. These are the hands that will hold your children in tender love, soothing their hurts and relieving themselves with worry when trouble comes. These are the hands that will hold your face and wipe tears from your eyes. The hands that will comfort and hold you when fear or grief rack your mind. These hands will touch you in wonder and awe that you would cry for her. They will caress you for a lifetime. Anjali, would you please take Terence's hands, palms up in yours, so you may see the gift they are to you. And these are the hands, young and strong and vibrant with love, that hold yours on your wedding day, and promises to love you all the days of his life. These are the hands that will hold your children in tender love, soothing their hurts and relieving themselves with worry when trouble comes. These are the hands that will comfort you in illness and hold you when fear and pain rack your mind. These hands will touch you in wonder and awe that you would cry for him. These hands will caress you for a lifetime. Each member of your wedding party carries a rose as a symbol of your love. Roses are nourished by all the community and environment in which they grow. So it is with your love that it has grown and flourished with the nourishment of your friends and your family. But love is delicate and love is fragile. And you must create a shelter in which life's storms and droughts will leave your love intact and always growing. Clasp hands. And these four hands will be your armor and shield. They will reach out to each other and unite and spread your love and caring for all they touch. I ask each of your wedding party to place their roses in your hands. Please open your hands to receive them. Would you go? We, of course, would have a rehearsal. And now I will take these roses, which your friends have brought to you as a token of their love and support for your marriage. And I present them to your mother, Anjali Sudha, who has nurtured They are given as thanks for her unconditional support that she has offered you as you lead her household to create your home. Thank you very much. You may receive.
Thanks, Jerry. Come on up here. Will everybody agree to support the bride and groom from here and now after? Say, I do.
I do.
One more time, I didn't hear you.
I do.
Cool. Okay, now we're going to have Ann Kelly come up. And she's from the Princeton area, and she's a wedding celebrant. Hi, Ann. Come on up.
I don't really need to make you wear a veil or a hat. I have a very simple ritual which involves the wedding ring. It grew out of a ceremony that I was doing from a traditional couple, both with religious families, and had been married 2 years previous when the groom was on his service and called to active duty in the Guard. So they got married in a civil ceremony and decided to get married later on when he got home and safe and sound. And so they had a wedding with their family and friends, an outdoor wedding, which was very touching and was not diminished at all by the fact that they had previously been married. I have married a number of couples that have legally tied the knot but decided to get married in a more public ceremony because they really realized later that they either wanted their families and friends to really support them and witness their proclamation. So they had asked me to bless the rings because they did have a Catholic background, and I was slightly uncomfortable with that as a non-denominational celebrant. I don't want to purport to be a religious figure. I want to give them what they want and create the ceremony of their dreams, but not to pretend I'm something I'm not, although I have been called rabbi on many occasions. Never a father, though. So my level of discomfort caused me to create this short ritual with the wedding rings, because they have been wearing the rings. So this works well for any ceremony, but it's especially good for those who have already been legally married, or a renewal, or even if they're exchanging rings that have been worn by their grandparents or something like that. So, and I've had brides really go to town on how to present the rings. I like to tie them together with little raffia or small ribbon. They often really get into it, think big, fancy, elaborate decals for their rings that reflect either a cultural or family ethnic element. We're here today to celebrate the love of Eileen and Jan. We'll start today by taking a moment to reflect in gratitude that we have all arrived safely to share in this moment of love. We come here today with all the joy in our hearts and all of our hopes for their future. They have found peace in each other's hearts in a sometimes loud and cluttered world. Their commitment to each other is a testament to their faith and their hopes for the future. They are blessed to be surrounded by all of you, their family and friends. And this occasion would not be complete without you. And through our thoughts and our wishes for this couple, we make of this space a holy place and celebrate a profoundly beautiful expression of love. Eileen and Jan, you, their dear family and friends, are the ceremony, and they might not be having the celebration if not for you. So for all you have done and all you mean to them, as they offer their deepest and most sincere thanks. You can see here an expression of Jan and Eileen's love and commitment to each other, their wedding rings. They have worn them for a few years now, but today these rings take on a new meaning. Jan and Eileen will exchange these rings before all of you as they publicly declare their love. But they feel your presence so strongly in their lives that they want you all to become a very real and lasting part of this ceremony and of their lives together. They would like each of you to take these rings in your hands and for a brief moment offer onto these rings and to this couple your blessings, your prayers, your deepest hopes and dreams for them. The rings will travel through the crowd and will be a vessel of your wishes and prayers. I will start by making my wish, and then I will hand this to Beth Nat'l, which is the here. Later in the ceremony, Eileen and Jan will exchange these rings. They will wear them every day, not only as a reminder of their love for each other, but of yours for them and theirs for you. Bring it up. I continue with the ceremony. Everyone sort of makes a wish or offers a prayer onto the rings, and they kind of go through. It needs to be done obviously early in the ceremony. It needs to go through and everybody. I've never lost the rings. I try to offer this mostly for couples who are having less than 100, because I think I would be watching the ring the whole time, if not, or it's supposed to have a bouncer or a man watching it as it goes through. And then they usually they start with the mother and wind up with the mother of the groom, and then they're brought back to me for the ring exchange, and I refer to them to their rings in that way as being renewed and more sort of representative of their entire family, and not just their union or unions of their two families together. And sometimes when I get the rings back, they're all warm from everybody holding on to them. It's really very sweet. That's it.
Anne's also a geologist and my mom. But that's the thing that's so important here, is we're all doing this. Is two families or more becoming one. And really, I think that's so important. And also, I want to tell you that society, in many cases, I'm going to get political on you, should become one, and we're helping that. We're also part of marriage equality, and we're very proud members of that, and we feel that a lot of people that are disenfranchised or, marginalized by society for whatever reason, that is something we believe that celebrants are human rights activists. We spell rights both ways, R-I-G-H-T and also R-I-T-E. So, and what we also do is we talk with you as bridal consultants. So you have the shot sheet. You know who's going to be reading. You know the events that are going to be taking place. And our ceremonies don't go on forever. There is a length to a ceremony, because usually the reception side also wants to serve the food. So these are things that we work along in tandem with you, and we dovetail with you, and that way the couple knows what's going on, you know what's going on, everything works like clockwork. Believe me, just ask Rhonda. So now we ask Wilma to come on up, Montrose. She's from the Keyport area, and we're very happy to have her do her ritual today that was featured in the Star Ledger for that lovely, lovely couple that are Marines, and they're there today.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to find my couple's name is Karina and Tim, and Charlotte has already told you about their wedding. You can fill out the pictures of it. Can I have a Karina? Would anybody like to volunteer? Anybody? Doesn't matter which gender. Would like to begin. Eric. Eric will begin. Thank you, Eric. And all I need now is a bridesmaid. I'm a bridesmaid. You stand beside your bride. Now, I'm going to explaining what the ritual is for again. You can relax. I like to use the mic. It really helps. I'm going to be demonstrating a ritual that was chosen by Karina and Tim. As Charlotte said, they were deployed in Iraq and had only come home for a week before the wedding. But we had communicated magically by email for many, many, many months, and while we were preparing the service. And they wanted to have the ritual of the coins, and so I was happy to include that in their ceremony. Coins have been used as symbols in marriages throughout history, and they have been used in many different ways. But the ritual we're going to be demonstrating was originally a Roman tradition. It was a custom to break gold or silver, and half of it was kept by the bride, half of it by the groom, as a pledge of marriage. It demonstrated the confidence and trust they had in each other. The ritual of the 13 coins, or aras, has had a very long tradition in Spanish culture. 13 gold coins are given to the bride by the bridegroom as a promise that he will support her. They are often presented in ornate boxes or trays, and in the past, the coins represented the bride's dowry and held good wishes for their prosperity. These coins became a family heirloom. As the Spanish influence spread throughout the world, so has the use of this ritual. It is used in Mexico, South and Latin America, and in the Philippines, and of course in the United States. Traditionally, the priest takes the coins from one of the wedding party, blesses them, and gives them to the groom. The coins are a symbol of the groom's responsibility as a provider, but he also is expressing his unquestioning trust in his new bride. He pledges that he will place all of his worldly goods into her care and safekeeping. No prenuptial agreement. The bride's acceptance of the coins is a sign of her trust in her future husband and the promise to care for him. The Christian influence is evident in the number 13. It represents Christ and his 12 apostles. And of course, the Spanish tradition is a Roman Catholic tradition. The couple's love and trust in each other reflect God's love for them. Today's couples embrace life and face the world together in a more mutually supportive way than ever before. So, the wedding coins have come to symbolize the couple's commitment to mutually contributing to their well-being. This also extends to their children, their family, and their community. The ritual we will demonstrate is from a wedding ceremony, as I said, that was of two Marines who were deployed in Iraq, named Karina and Tim. Fortunately, they had, as Charlotte said, they had Rhonda Bassett Rivera for their bridal consultant, and I was able to work with her, and it was a wonderful experience. And I very, very, very much appreciate what all of you do, because I thought it was awesome. I just couldn't believe how much she had done to prepare for these two who had no way of doing any of this preparation themselves. But when they got there, Tim was only there the night before at the rehearsal. Everything was in place. It was amazing. Thank you, Rhonda. Where's Rhonda? There's you. Frida's family was from Colombia, South America, and Tim was from Kentucky. The ritual comes from her Hispanic heritage. Just, if you'd like to, I'll show you some pictures too. I don't want to touch this here. Problem. Here they are in their teeth. Thank you. Please. And the wedding. These are photos that were taken by the Star Ledger photographer. This is beautiful. Bridgewater Manor in Bridgewater, New Jersey. Beautiful setting in the early spring. Now, perfect day. We are so fortunate for perfect days when we have perfect days. Just a word about the coins themselves. They're available over the internet. These coins are 13 coins. And this will show you also the fact that it doesn't necessarily need to be a religious ceremony. These coins have on one side of them, on all of them, a Celtic knot, which is a marriage knot. On the other side, there are 13 different symbols, marriage or wedding symbols. And if you'd like to look at them later, they'll be available for you to look at. They're quite lovely. And as I said, they can be kept throughout a couple of lives. Reminder. And also, if you are going to be in the lunch area soon, you may come by our table, and there's a video of the wedding, so you can see the ritual again if you'd like to. Okay, I'm going to put on my table. Start here. I just wanted to, for you also to notice that the bride and groom are facing you, and I'm standing on the side, and you'll notice that also in the video. 12 coins, which Karina and Tim will pass between them, represent Jesus and the 12 disciples. They have special meaning for Karina and Tim, as they not only represent God's blessing of their marriage, but their well-being as husband and wife. Let us pray. Gracious God, we ask you to bless Karina and Tim as they receive these coins one from the other. May they be for them a sign of mutual support and care. Bless Karina and Tim, that their love may be that which binds them together in trust and confidence. Amen. Amen. Very short ritual, and following that ritual, there was another ritual of its kind in Non, which is also very lovely. Anyway, that's our ritual for Karina and Tim.
We want to thank all the brides and grooms today and hope that their spouses or their loved ones don't take offense. Of course, in Montclair, is it legally binding on them? Did we marry them or we have bigamy in the room? Thank you all. Now, I'm going to bring up the celebrants that were part of this event. And if you have any questions, or I don't know if we're running a little late, Lois, whatever you'd like to do. So, Anne, Jerry, come on up. And if you have any questions, we're here for you. I can hear some stomachs growling. Shoot. Yes.
The only thing I would say is that I've seen the ring ceremony done, and I know you're saying large weddings. I have a large wedding object over 150. So instead of passing those rings around 150 in a, let's just say, a very old Quaker house that has big dents like this, or making me nervous as we were passing rings, what they do is they have their immediate bridal party, closest friends, and their family around, and then everyone else watch.
Yeah, I have a wedding of 180 where I want to do this, and it's a big enough family that it will seem like enough of and
not all 150. And then the last thing the celebrant said was, you know, as the actresses now only all join into a final process. And it actually very well.
We do variations to a lot of different things, but the bottom line is the approval from the bride and groom. We do diddly squat. If they don't, like we've done ceremonies where, you know, someone from the family might come over, oh, we think this should, no. We talk to the bride. We all know this. And if that's what the bride wants, well, that's what she gets. So it's very important that, you know, they're our client. But we have different variations. In fact, there was a couple that Jerry did a ceremony for that they met dancing. They were in dancing. So we're talking about different cultural rituals, but sometimes it's a hobby or how they meet. So they all waltzed in at a dance studio, and we have the video.
They came to me with the idea. I did not suggest to them, oh, you met dancing? I think you want to dance. Right? They came to me, they had already booked the ballroom. And so they actually ended the ceremony with a whole dance exhibition. And it was quite an extraordinary image. So everything from dance ceremonies to ceremonies that are really quite spiritual.
And actually, we've even had situations where the bride has said to us, Toby is going to be the ring bearer. Toby was the dog. So, you know, I mean, those are things that we're open to. Of course, it has to be okay with the site. Of course, we're talking to the bridal consultant here. You know, all those kinds of things are really important. Go right ahead if you have any questions.
many of you are actually, oh, I see a
I'm
question.
just curious, can the coins, part of the ceremony, couple choose anything that they want to do, or do they want the culture, the offer, or can anybody do a coin?
I think that's really one of the goals of celebrancy, is to offer the couple whatever it is that's appropriate for them, and to modify any traditions. I've had like Catholic and Jewish couples who haven't been used for like a Buddhist philosophy, and you can really pull in any element of any ceremony and modify them to fit your couple. So I'm sure we could make anything work for everybody.
We have,
Incorporated, there's other traditions like East Asian has some of their traditions that they follow. Can you do that as well as what you offer?
there are no wedding leaves. Right? The traditions that we think of as the way a wedding works come out of Queen Victoria's wedding. She was married in a certain way in a white dress, and suddenly that was the fashion, and then it was sort of solidified, and of course modern commercialism sort of just pushes that along because you want people to buy, right? But you can modify and do things like, for instance, I have a couple who are using the Ukrainian bread and salt.
Right.
There's a tradition with a braided loaf of bread where you have a tug of war between the bride and the groom, and the one who gets the biggest piece is the master of the household. Our job is to, at least the way I work, is, it takes, it's a 2-hour interview, as well as a preliminary interview for almost 45 minutes, almost an hour. So you spend quite a lot of time with people getting to know who they are. And you brainstorm during that interview process. And our job is not so much to say, this is right, this is wrong, as to say, I don't know if you do that, whether it'll be good taste, whether, this, to help them shape it. So as I said, it doesn't come out feeling weird. It comes out feeling organic to who they are.
And we know a lot of readings, and we talk about who they'd like to have participating in their ceremony. There might be something out of the scriptures that would be appropriate for people that are coming from many, many different faiths or non-faith, and some of the secular. So there's things that we politely suggest, but it's always up to them. And I think that's the beautiful thing, is there's something that we do that maybe nobody does, especially our parents. We listen. We listen to the couples. We really take notes. We find out what's important, and we know what they hate, what would make them cringe, and we remember it really with painstaking care. We listen, we write the ceremony, we proof it, we might do unlimited proofs. So it's usually about 3 or 4 times we speak a little bit. We get it right, right? So this is what we get with celebrants. It's a wonderful location. We've been busy bees. I don't know. Are there people here that are not from New Jersey? Could you raise your hand? Okay, not from New Jersey, right? Okay.
Pennsylvania?
Savannah. Okay, so we have a celebrant Savannah. And she's also one of the writers for iVillage, Sarah Stedman. So we have celebrants up and down the eastern seaboard, and we would be very, very proud to have ceremonies that we can help embellish with you and make these moments with these families a treasure that'll last a lifetime. So we thank you all very much. Unless there's another question. I have a quick question. Would you be willing to work with another Christian? Oh, we do.
It's quite common.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, for people who are having weddings in a hotel or catering place, their parish priest in New Jersey won't come and do the ceremony there. It's not uncommon to have the parish priest come in and do a blessing, or the rabbi do a blessing, if somebody is willing to. And sometimes, basically the idea is to serve the client so that they get something that's appropriate to their needs.
We're very inclusive. So there are times when it's so fun. We did a ceremony in New York City, right on the boat, right on the water. And the bride came in a gondola. And Columbia. So we brought her, and she came off to the hill, and she came into up and down the hall with her family, and they brought her in. And it was interesting because we did it bilingual. We had her brother come and do half the vows in Spanish, I did the vows in English, and had them repeated. And we also had the rabbi come. And he was able to do a little blessing and read something. He happened to be a Spanish major. So he read something from Roca, everybody clapped. It was, and the whole party was there, we had 1,000 people. Boats were going back and forth. It was really a showstopper, and it meant so much. And she was wearing a pearl necklace that the grandmother, her name was Pearl, and it was hers. So we mentioned that. And she had friends that came from different countries, and somebody did a little poem in French. So, and we, of course, we kept it short, but it was so wonderful to bring in the religious aspects of the people that were important to them, their family members, and their heritage, and to give thanks to their ancestors that were right there. So that's what we do. We're inclusive.
Well, thank you all very much.
Good afternoon. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tony.